5th of July, 2011. I've already photographed the sunrise and taken a swim in the edgeless pool at the Farama resort where I'm staying, but I need to write about my experience yesterday. Here it was just another Monday in Vietnam, but for us Americans, it was Independence Day, the 4th of July, the day we celebrate our freedom. I knew before the sun came up that it would be a powerful day because I would get to stand at the memorial of Captain Floyd W. Olsen, my wife's uncle, who in 1968 was shot down in the tiny village of Hong Ha. I awoke around 4:30 a.m. and filmed the beautiful sunrise on the beach. I was amazed at the number of Vietnamese walking the shore, exercising and preparing to start their day. It makes sense though because the days are so hot that the people take advantage of the coolness of the morning. By 6 a.m. I was already sweating through my clothes. After breakfast at the resort, a driver picked me up and took me to the airport here in Da Nang to get Chuck, director of Vets with a Mission. By the way, they are building a new terminal at the airport here, which is beautiful. As a matter of fact, there is an enormous amount of construction going on in Vietnam. 5-star resorts, casinos, houses, beautiful bridges, and an amazing new soccer stadium have all been built since I was here in 2008. Their economy obviously hasn't slowed like ours has in America. Once Chuck arrived, we started the drive to the village of Hong Ha via Hue, through the mountains, through the 6.3-kilometer tunnel, along the coast, past the rice paddies, alongside the narrow-gauge railroad tracks, and into the city. Our first stop in Hue was for lunch at Mr. Ku's restaurant, the Mandarin Cafe, one of Hue's local treasures. After our visit with Mr. Ku, we loaded back into the van. The road to Hong Ha is filled with twists and turns and potholes. It's only about 45 kilometers from Hue, but it takes at least an hour and 15 minutes to drive. Returning to Hong Ha in some ways is like visiting a friend you haven't seen in a while. It's been over 3 years since I stood on its soil, looked into the eyes of its people, and felt the feelings of losing a relative in this place. The jungle takes its toll on everything. The original clinic that was raised in memory of Floyd was built in 1997 by a good friend of Floyd's who was a missionary in Vietnam through the war. But looking at the building today, it's easy to see that entropy has its effects on everything, and the jungle is no safe harbor. Which is why the government of Vietnam asked Vets with a Mission to help co-build a new clinic in memory of Uncle Floyd. The new facility is 2 stories and is a very nice looking building. It even features a Western toilet, which you'll never fully appreciate unless you've had to use a squatty potty before. After filming the new building, which is very close to completion, we met with the leaders of Hong Ha, the representatives from the Hue Union of Friendship organizations, and people from another local district where Chuck presented them with a couple of computers, monitors, and a printer for use within the new clinic. Once the meeting was done, the paperwork signed and the photos taken, we took our van down the road a kilometer or so across the river to where Uncle Floyd's original crash site was marked. Behind a couple of houses, near a couple of small family farming plots, is a small gravestone-looking memorial to Captain Floyd Warren Olsen. It was erected in the late 90s, and it too is showing signs of age and deterioration. The lettering is almost impossible to read, and the marker itself is being swallowed by nature that surrounds it. We had to cut down and break off branches and pull grass and weeds out from around the front of the stone. This stone marker in the middle of nowhere, Vietnam, was where I was able to take a few minutes and reflect on the cost of freedom. My 4th of July celebration included no parades, no barbecue, and no fireworks, but it was extremely powerful nonetheless. The freedoms we experience in America have been paid for with the blood of men who have come before us. That is always a humbling and sobering thought, and as I stared at the stone marker in Hong Ha, I was grateful for those like Uncle Floyd who have paid the price for my freedom with their own blood. On the way back to Da Nang, before the long tunnel, we climbed the hill, and looking back was the most amazing sunset, so we stopped so I could capture it on film. So the perfect day was bookended with filming a sunrise and a sunset. With the time change, it's currently after 7 p.m. on the 4th of July back home in Virginia. My family is at a picnic with a number of friends, and once it's dark, they will enjoy the fireworks display in our small town. Of course, I wish I were with them, but I wouldn't give up the experience of my 4th of July here in Vietnam for anything.